This is Cute Fuzzy Weasel, and we are back at Blink Station, and this thing is just a nightmare. I mean, genuinely, look at it. This is not a really great place. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the crew back in their space capsules, because I do not trust. All right, I do not trust that. I don't trust that either of these. Look, the R3 sucks as a rocket. The R2 variant that I used to get up here barely made it. Until I have a reliable rocket that can send people into space, manned missions are canceled. I gotta get these guys back home. So, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna undock this thing. We're gonna undock the R2 module, and we're gonna deorbit it, because we just have to. I've been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, and like everything I've got is a death trap. All of the rockets that I have are death traps. So I'm gonna deorbit these two guys. I'm not gonna deorbit Blink Station, because like there's still shit we can do there. But I'm gonna get the astronauts back home, and then I'm gonna focus on making an actual good rocket, because I keep trying to make hybrids and shit, and stuff that I think, you know, that looks cool. But I think what I need to do is I need to focus on making something that's functional, something that's reliable, and something that's within my tech kind of level. Because we gotta get serious about this. We're 5 years into the space program, okay? If I'm taking this as a Earth analog, this is 1961, okay? It's 1961. What were we doing in 1961? Not barely flying rockets at each other. Okay, yes, that is exactly what we were doing in 1961. But the point is, I need a reliable rocket design. The R3 doesn't cut it. You know, its heavy lift capacity is... it's not worth it. It's not really working. So instead, we're gonna do this. We're gonna Jesus Christ, this thing has a bunch of fuel. Like, this has a ton of fuel on it. I forgot how much fuel I managed to squeeze into the R2. Tons. No wonder it's such a big top-heavy rocket. But we're gonna deorbit this guy. We're gonna bring the other two astronauts back home. And then I'm building the R4. Or maybe I'm not building the R4. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing this episode. I'm not coming in with a plan. So, give me a few minutes to come up with one. Okay? You're putting me through a lot of pressure. This is too much pressure. It's too much pressure to play this game. Okay? I'm only playing this game because I don't know, and I didn't put vodka in this. I swear. Oh, fuck. You know what we need to do? We need to go to DUNA. I feel really, really stupid now. That underside thing could pop off the whole time? I didn't know that. I thought it was like a... I don't know, I thought it was like a base. I didn't know it could come off. I mean, it makes a whole lot more sense. I mean, I thought it was weird they go through the trouble of, like, making, you know, a Soyuz capsule ball thing and not have it be a ball. I just... Okay, fine. This comes off. Now I know. Okay, we got the other crew back, and now we're just gonna bring these guys back. And of course, now knowing that this shit can pop off, I'm like, well, fuck, you know? Which means I could just decouple it in space. I'm not gonna do that, but, you know, that's an option. Anyway, let's get these guys home. So, I've had about 15 minutes to think, because I made the parachute on the last, I made the parachute, like, open at 5,000 feet, and then it took 15 minutes to finally fucking land. Anyway, I've had some time to think, and I'm coming up with two different options. I can either try and send another Modelo. Like, I know why Modelo 2 crashed. I could send another Modelo to Minimus, and that could definitely net me the science I need to get what I want. And what I want to get is the bigger shroud. I feel like if I get that bigger shroud, I'll be able to make a better rocket. So I could send another Modelo to Minimus, easy. Or I could try to make a dedicated Mars probe, a DUNA probe. The only the downside to doing a Modelo mission to Minimus is I feel like I would get incredibly bored. But the pro is that it would be over relatively quickly, and I would definitely get the science I need. The pro side of doing a mission to DUNA, on the other hand, would be we'd land a fucking probe on DUNA. I mean, I'm not sure how much, you know, how much more pro you can get at that. That's awesome. The downside, however, is that, one, I don't know if we can get a probe to DUNA. It would be like, you know, a test. And two, I don't know if I'd be able to get all the science. So we send a probe to DUNA, you know, it has to bring back the science necessary. You know, I don't want to send a probe all the way to DUNA and then find out, oh, I'm only halfway to getting the thing that I need for the R4. I guess it would be the R4. So I'm gonna do fucking heads or tails for it. Heads, I send a Modelo to Minimus, and you hear me bitch and complain about how the R2 sucks, and then we get the science back, because I know what I'm doing now, and then we go home. Tails is I try and build a DUNA probe with what I've got on hand, probably rocket included, and then you hear me bitch and moan about how whatever I did was bad. So, either way, get ready for another episode of Weasel complaining about shit. So here we go. Heads, we go to the Minimus. Tails, we go to DUNA. And I let it fall on the floor because that's fair. None of this grabbing it and laying it on your arm bullshit. Right. And it landed... Tails. So we're going to DUNA. So, we're making a probe that's going to go to DUNA. First thing we have to do is we have to build the probe. Well, first thing we're going to do is we have to build the rocket. And for that, it's an R2 design, but I'm going to go with the Bill and Ted. And I'm going to go with the Bill and Ted because the Bill and Ted definitely has the Delta V. Like, it just does. And yes, it's a bunch of solid rocket boosters attached to a bunch of shit, I'm not happy about it. I don't want to use an R2, but the R3 is not reliable, and this is. So we're going to take it, and we're going to put it off to the side, and we're going to build a new probe. So, for the first part of this ship, I want something that's like low to the ground, kind of like this thing here. I mean, it's only 0.1 ton more than the Stay Putnik, and I think it looks cooler. So this will be the probe body. And the idea is we're going to have two spacecraft here. We're going to have one that acts as a communication satellite around DUNA. That way, no matter what way DUNA is facing, we have a better chance of sending a signal back to Kerbal. The second part of the craft is going to be the landing craft. Now, I don't really care about making a rover, so I'm gonna go with an impactor. I mean, not an impactor, but I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go with something that just lands on the surface and does a little science. So to that end, we're gonna load this thing up with batteries, and probably this ought to do it. Like just a ring of these. Like these carry 100 charge, these carry 200 charge. Okay, so we have a ring of those and one of these. And then we shouldn't have really any problem with power. We're going to have some photovoltaic cell. We're going to have some solar panels on it too, probably 4, 4 ought to do it. Yeah, there we go. 4 ought to do it. And we'll throw some of these. These ought to do it. There we go. All right. So when this thing lands, it'll stop. These will extend. And we will get some signal out of this with this here. This here. Yeah, right there. Right there. That there. It's going to be... There. Actually, you know what? I want another one here for redundancy. Because... yeah. Just in case it lands on its side. Now, as far as parachutes go, I know that DUNA does not have a very thick atmosphere. So... probably want a couple of parachutes. Probably want like 3 or 4 of them, I'd expect. Or maybe one big one like this. This would do it. This definitely has enough. That could make it. Oh yeah, that could make it. Just make the minimum pressure nothing and the altitude everything. Yeah. Yeah, that'd do it. That'd do it great. And maybe like 2 more, like a set, like a whole set of these things, just to make sure that no matter what happens, we get the damn thing on the ground. Because the last thing I want is just to get all the way there, only to have it just crash on the surface like a piece of garbage. So boom, that is definitely fucking making it. I mean, that's all parachute. So now that we've got this out of the way, we have to come up with the science. So weight's kind of paramount here. Although we could probably expand it to be like here. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so what do we have in science that's like high yield science? Because we're only going to be able to scan one area. I guess a magnetometer goes without saying just because it's pretty... Yeah, a magnetometer can do a lot. We can do a lot with this, and it's pretty simple. Plus, it can, like, sit right there. Or sit right here. And just poke out. Or we could put it up here. We could put it here. And have it just come popping up straight through the ship. It'd be a bitch to get to, though. Holy shit. Well, maybe. Once this goes away, I might have a better... No. Magnetometer is going to be one hell of an issue to find, but we'll figure it out. Next, what we can fit on here is our standard, you know, thermometer. Do that. And definitely we've got space for a, you know, barometer. There you go. And a seismometer, little seismograph thing right there. That'd be cool. We've got this, which scans upper layers of a surface. This kind of weird thing that I guess scans neutrons. Yeah, shove that puppy on one of these things. There we go. What else do we have that's like surface stuff? We've got... We got this ground scanner. This might be a big pain in the ass, but I want to try and take it. And I can even put it like up here. Like, boom, right there. There we go. And then when this thing comes out to scan, yeah, that's good. That'll do it. Alright. So now we've got all that, and we've definitely got enough power to transmit, if we let it. What we're going to do is we're going to put our heat shield on. Which, maybe this? That'll possibly do it. And then I've got an even bigger one. You know what? Let's go with the bigger one. Let's go with the bigger one, just to be safe. Right there. That's good, right there. And I just want to make sure that we're not scanning it. Nah, we're not scanning it. We're good. Okay, so this here, right here, is our... This is our probe. This here's our boy. Oh... Yeah, this is it. This is our boy, right here. Just gotta get it, make sure that it's like secure to this thing, just in case. Boom. Boom, right there. And I wanna, like, can I see the magnetometer? Can I even see it? Yeah, it's right there. Clicking around, I'll probably be able to find it. I just have to not forget that it's there. Alright, so this is the probe. This is what'll land on DUNA. Now, there's another part to this thing that's going to be this. And what this... Well, maybe the bigger adapter ring just to keep things consistent. 3.1. Yep. No. Yep. I think that's the biggest one we got. Son of a bitch. That can't be the biggest one we have. There we go. Alright, so this little part here, this is going to be what performs the deorbit burn. This does not need to have a lot of fuel. Like, it really doesn't need to have a lot of fuel. At all. It just needs to be able to you know, just fire the thruster enough to get us down. In fact, it doesn't even have to be, like, a strong engine. I'll take a weak engine that just produces a lot of thrust over a decent amount of time. This would do it. This would be just fine. It doesn't even have to look pretty. It just has to work. Alright. So, this'll go, that'll deorbit, and then this'll make it through the atmosphere. Those'll go, and then boom, we'll have it done. I hope. The more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm thinking I want something that's actively going at all times. So I'm just going to add one more communication thing, just to be the thing that's always on. And I want it to be pointing up to get it out of aerodynamic stress. Yeah. We'll put it right there. There we go. That's good. That's good. Okay. So now for the part that acts as the communication satellite. That'll be this decoupler here. That'll be, and then this decoupler here. That'll be, and then this decoupler here. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. Just any old probe body will do it. Probably another one of these. Nah, not another one of them. Could do this. That's a big one. Yeah, that could do it. That could do it. And this thing's whole deal is just communicating between Kerbal and the DUNA probe. So really, I just want it covered in solar panels. I mean, bathed in them. Like it's just eating them. Like it's eating them and eating them all and eating their soul. Eating the soul of the solar panels. Dep. And dep. Alright. So now we've got solar panels all over it. We've got batteries. We need some batteries for it. This ought to be enough right here. And then we need some communications, stuff. And right now, I think one of these or two of these ought to do it. Yeah, these two ought to do it. These two ought to do it. It only has to communicate with Kerbal. Or maybe like 3 of them. There. I'm not a fan of how goofy this thing looks. But it doesn't have to look good, it just has to work. I know, it just has to work. So this will be in low DUNA orbit, I guess. Maybe I ought to throw some thrusters on it just to make sure. So we'll throw some thrusters here. I mean some fuel, and then we'll put a what's a good engine that'll take full advantage of this fuel loadout? Like a small one. Whoa. No, a small engine. A small engine, like the Stromboli. Yeah, these can all be, these can all be liquid. These can all be cryogenic, it doesn't matter. Stromboli engine ought to do it, there we go. So cool, here's the Stromboli engine. And, yeah, I mean, that looks pretty neat. So that'll be the communications satellite that gets left in DUNA orbit, which will talk to this thing once it's on the ground. And I guess if we wanted to really maximize our science, we could put some science on this thing. I mean, it'll be in low DUNA orbit, I suppose. It could do some science. It could do its own magnetometer scan, I guess. Yeah, we could put one on it. And it could do a radio emission scan, like it could do the RES antenna. Let's expand that and see what it looks like. Yeah, it could do that. It could do that. That's, yeah. Yeah, okay. Does this thing have a gimbal inside of it? It has some reaction wheels. That ought to be enough. Okay, so this thing's a little bit kind of top heavy, but it's also really light. And that's what I like about it. It's really light. Yeah, I'm just going to assume that it's really light. Now, for the decoupler, which is actually... No, it's not. It's not already on that. Alright. There. There's the decoupler. So we'll take this. And I can't even find the original probe body. It's just buried. Oh, that was a fucking mistake. Yeah. There we go. There's the probe body. Lift it up as high as it'll go. Then we'll take this, snap it on there. We'll expand this fairing out. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up. Boom, and boom, and boom. Alright, so that's the fairing. And this is the rocket. And now to name it. What's up? Oh, right. You know what? Before I go about naming shit, let's just make sure there's enough fairings inside of here to keep this thing from ripping itself apart in the housing. You know, as you do. When did that become a phrase? I feel like an old man asking these old man questions. When did "as you do" become a phrase? It wasn't that way when I was a kid. Why, I remember when I got on the train to Shelbyville. I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. We couldn't use the big yellow onions because of the war. We had to use the little red ones. There we go. I love that bit. Alright, so there we go. That's not going to rip itself apart in the housing. And in honor of the reference that I just made, I'm going to call this Abe 1. First DUNA probe. Yeah. After Abe Simpson. Whatever. If you get the reference, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Alright, let's take this puppy out and launch it. And hopefully it doesn't break or flip around on the launch pad or make it impossible to work with or any number of things that seem to plague our damn, projects every time I make something. It just goes all to hell. Except for this one rocket design that just does everything I need it to do. We'll set this for 250. And we're going to engage autopilot. And launching of the Abe 1, the world's first DUNA probe, designed to just hit somewhere on the planet and I'm not having a stroke. I'm just dead tired. And then tomorrow's also going to be fucking long. And then Saturday's going to be really fucking long. And then Sunday's going to be really fucking long. And then I'm driving to Atlanta on Monday. And then I'm going to be down there doing work, presumably. And then drive back up to North Carolina. Pick up the cat. Drive back to the apartment. Then well, if I get back Friday, I've at least got the weekend. There's that. I'm looking at a calendar. A calendar's over there. How's the launch going? Oh, good. Good. Only one horrific explosion. That's the good old Bill and Ted variant of the R2 launch vehicle. Good old bet. Yeah. I'm just gonna presume that this thing gets to launch. Yeah, I'm just gonna presume this thing gets to launch. So I have to relaunch the fucking thing. Yeah, so everything is actually going great. The probe performs beautifully. It's just these solar panels here that you can barely see. There they go. Yeah. I forgot that these things auto-deploy. So when I took the fucking fairing off, they expanded. Now, why is this a problem? That thing is going through DUNA's atmosphere. These are extending past the heat shield. I cannot retract them. They will be sheared off in the atmosphere. Which means that any science that I do with this thing is going to be limited by the amount of power that's on board, and then that's it, and then I've lost the probe. Kerbal Space Program! Okay, I replaced the solar panels with these, and when they only expand on command, and if they do, I can always retract them. And I've also changed up the load order, so this center booster goes automatically, so I don't have to keep, selecting it in the load order. Also, I put these fuel lines here, so these rockets feed into this center column, so it should fall away automatically, and also in a much more controlled fashion. So, maybe it was a good thing this thing failed. I'm going to assume that a smart little green engineer would have picked up on the problem initially and brought it up to management. And then they would have microwaved him. Squad, and I guess now 2K, let me microwave them. I want to watch them pop. And launching! Alright, this should be a much easier, much safer, much more stable ride into orbit. Aboard the Abe-1, the world's first DUNA probe. Going straight to the mysterious red planet. What will we find? Will we find... I guess they're green. Blue-skinned little pill people? Who knows? Why am I using this voice? You don't know. Oh shit, it's flipping. What the fuck? What? Why? Why are you flipping? What? I didn't do anything. I swear I didn't do anything to modify the aerodynamics whatsoever. That's not fair. Fuck you, Rocket. Fuck the R2. The R2 sucks. I guess it's not... Okay, it's stopping. It's stabilized. Those are going. Boom. And now we're back using the correct boosters. Yes. Actually, by 1963 would I guess be the year? This is... Hang on, you know what? I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to look it up. First probe to Mars. Alright, the first probe to Mars was Mariner 9. Okay, when did the first probe land on Mars? It was... No, where was the first exploration of Mars? Let me take a look. Like, the first flyby was 1960... Where is it? The first flyby was 1965, it looks like. This is such a shit show. Like, I'm just trying to find out, like, the first probe. List of missions to Mars. Here we go. The first probe, which was 1M number 1, launched by the Soviets, was in 1960. So we're actually right on track. The first probe to actually successfully fly by was Mariner 4 in 1964, which was a flyby of Mars by July 15th, 1965. So we're on track. I'm going to pop the shell. Boom. Yeah, see, unlike the others, unlike the first ones, I can retract these. Yeah, retract. I don't need you open. Well, actually, you know what? Actually, don't retract. Maybe having solar panels, like, following the sun is a good idea. So, we're relatively on track. This is year 5 of our space program. I'm going to say that in Kerbal history, this started about 1952? 1950, well, when did the space... Let me take a look at this, too. When did space race start? Space race started in 1955, so... This is 1960. Yeah, this is 1960. So, we're on track. Another 4... in fact, we're 4 years ahead. We're 4 years ahead of NASA. Because this is... Well, okay, we're not... Let's not count our chickens yet. I get it. We don't know if we're 4 years ahead yet. This thing could fall and fail miserably like what it looks like it's doing, because there's no... What are we doing, guys? You should be engaging your autopilot and launching and like, what's the dealio here? Come on. Come on. Alright, disengage. Do I have any control? I have extremely limited control over this spacecraft. Right, there's no reaction wheels. God damn it. Once again, we are launching the Abe-1, the world's first DUNA probe. Perhaps now it will fucking work. Alright, so launch is going well. We've got... I put all these smaller reaction wheels on it because I didn't feel like, you know, giving a damn about taking this whole goddamn thing apart again and putting a reaction wheel in it. So hopefully, these fucking things do their job. You can see how sometimes this game becomes very frustrating. Because all I wanted to do was send a probe to DUNA, and I have now been sitting here for 45 minutes relaunching the same rocket over and over, tweaking little things to make sure it doesn't just blow apart or just sit there and burn up in the atmosphere. Now, maybe I'm just not running the game very efficiently because I'm only playing it like in one-off sessions, and it's usually at night, and I'm usually drinking, and, you know... But, I don't know, I feel like the game is harder. Maybe, I mean, I haven't gone through, like, the newest iteration of it yet. Certainly, this thing flexing is not a good sign. But it's well within acceptable bounds again. Sustaining sequence. The sample is ready, Gordon. You should see it coming up to you in a few moments. Look to the delivery station for your specimen. Very good, Gordon. Slough the carrier into the analysis port. What's he doing in there? That's none of your business. Ah, fuck. I fucked it up. I played Half-Life so many fucking times that I memorized the game. I memorized the game. It's like, so, I have this habit of listening to the same media and watching the same movie over and over and over until I've memorized it completely. And that's what I did with Half-Life. So why are we now pointing directly downwards towards the planet? I don't know. I don't know. Is this affecting our apoapsis at all? Is it going down? Yes! Indeed, the apoapsis is going down. Fuck you, R2. Just fucking work. Just work. For fucking once, just work. Just do what you're supposed to fucking do. Oh, I can't wait to build the R4. I can't wait to build a rocket that when I tell it to do something, it just does it. And it doesn't, like, start spinning for no fucking reason. Or, like, flip around for no reason. Or stop working for no reason. But, hey, I guess the R2 is technically better than the R1. Even though the R2 has a significantly higher fail rate than the R1. Though, to be fair, there have been a lot more R2 launches than there were R1 launches. So, maybe it's just me. I mean, my judgment is just... My vision is just clouding. I'm just having my judgment clouded by how unbelievably nerve-wracking some of these launches have been. But these little small gyroscopes, I mean, they're fucking working. They're kind of working. They're sort of working. Yeah, that's pointing down. That's going down. That's going down, yo. That's going down. Okay, so while we're making this burn and achieving orbit, I want to double check and see what the position of the planets is. Because, well, that's not great, but it could definitely be worse. Also, I've been thinking, you know, if the design of this thing works, I could send it to Eve. I mean, Eve's got a lot more atmosphere to push through, but yeah, it might work. Okay, so we've got to... I'm going to try and figure out if I can launch this thing. If I can go in one burn to DUNA. Like, in one burn. So that's my set as target. So what is... Oh, shit, I might be able to do that. And maybe I can, maybe I can't. If I can do that, that'd be sweet, because then I wouldn't have to do any of the circularization or waiting or other fucking bullshit. Alright, we kind of have an encounter. Kind of do, kind of don't. There! Yes, we have an encounter right there. That's a 7-minute burn in... No, it's a 1 minute and 58 second burn in 7 minutes. Alright, ascent guidance. Let's go ahead and do this thing. I mean, not ascent guidance. Maneuver planner, maneuver planner. There we go. Execute next node. Fucking move faster, buddy. Come on. Come on. I can't tell if the probe is moving or if it's... No, it's moving. It's definitely moving. Alright. Okay. We're going, we're going, we're going, we're going, we're going. Go faster. Also, if I'm reading this ring right, and you can't see the ring, but if I'm reading this right, it looks like we've got... Boom. And then, oh shit, this is that's out of order. Okay. It looks like we've got, that's out of order too. Ah, shit, the whole load order's out of order. Take this and we'll put this there. Okay, so that'll go, and then that'll go, and then we'll work through this. We're basically gonna burn through, if I'm seeing this right, yeah, we're gonna burn through this, and then the majority of this fuel here. We just have to decouple that, and then this thing will swing around. This should, once this is off and this is off, this thing should have a significant amount of maneuverability. Theoretically, it should. Also, this episode is made out of like 15 different segments, and I'm trying to figure out in my head how long it is. I think by now we're at 10 minutes or 20 minutes. But I can't remember. All I know is it's 11:14. Here we go. Okay, boom. Just get into... Let's do this. Let's get it in one burn. We'll get it in one burn, and then I'll figure out whether or not I want to go to DUNA in this episode or if I want to hold off to next episode. Boom, here we go. Here we go. We're burning. So I will cut to when the burn is over. Okay. All right, so we made the burn, and it looks like we're probably on course. Maybe, maybe not. I think we're a little bit off, but that's not important right now. What is important is this. They're floating. I don't want them to float. That looks stupid. Man. I thought they were, like, against something. I thought they were, like... I didn't realize they were floating. I don't want them floating. But I don't want to spend the time relaunching the ship. It looks so ugly. That's so bad. I don't want floating parts. God damn it. Okay. All right. We're going to do this again. Heads. I keep going with floating parts and just kind of retcon it away that they're on some kind of glass strut or plexiglass strut. Which, okay. Tails. I go back into the ship editor and I relaunch the entire ship and start all over. Well,